So yeah, let's get into your game, man.
Yeah,
So we got the ties of Tethys or
yeah.
Tethys.
I think it's
Um,
Tethys. Yeah.
are there
Honestly, it's however you want to pronounce it. But
cool? All right, so let's check out the trailer.
cool.
Well, that was cool. Let's go through some of these things, or actually, let's just talk about like how you came up with the. Well, I guess you talked about like the snorkeling or the scuba diving helped inspire you to do this. But what made you decide to be like, okay, this is going to be the one. I'm going to make this type of game because that's a hard moment, to make that
Sure.
decision.
Yes. So initially, I knew I wanted to do something underwater, but the main goal is I honestly just wanted to mix things that I enjoyed from games. So I love base building. I love exploration games. I love games where you can kind of customize stuff that you have. And so that's what I started from. Initially, the game was kind of just going to be a lot more city builder ish and much more handcrafted. So it was more going to be, hey, you kind of build your base and you go through levels, and each level has a very specific challenge. But then, because it was just the two of us, we realized that going roguelite was something that was actually more front loaded in terms of work. Meaning, if we could just figure out the systems and spend 3 months doing the systems and figuring that out, then we could get some really good prog gen for all the environments or the levels or the objectives, which would allow us kind of um, to make all that workload easier on just the two of us.
Well, how'd you figure out the programming and everything? Do you have a guy that is that your partner that's or teammate that's is programming all this stuff for you? Like how
So I
you're a
actually,
concept artist. How'd you did you
yeah. So as I mentioned, when I went to school, they kind of taught us all the foundations on this is how you do basic programming and how you move a cube when you press W. This is an engine. This is how you do audio design. So I actually know how to do pretty much everything.
Okay.
It's just the way I like to describe myself is I'm kind of a junior at least at everything, and
Hmm.
then I'm a senior only at a couple things.
Yeah.
Um, and so, whether it's the music or the sound design or the environment art or, the character modeling, like all that stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, we did have Jasmine, which is an amazing character contractor that we had for some time, do some of it, but the majority of the work there is mine. On the programming side, I do have the my teammate, like we talked about, and he is more here to. I joke with him a lot about that he's kind of here to fix everything that I break. So the idea is that I kind of tend to mock gameplay and say, hey, this is kind of what I'm trying to do, and here's the systems, and then he kind of goes in and makes them actually work and does them the correct way and the optimized way. Because even though I'm kind of able to do most of all this stuff, I do in a way that's more in terms of programming, at least, kind of more at a blockout level. Um, and I'm missing in a lot of cases that kind of 10% top level of, oh, it's better to use a data table as opposed to using a struct for kind of sorry, that's programming terms, but yeah, kind of even though I'm able to do in programming a lot of what I need, I don't always have the best solutions for it. So that's where Kyle comes in, and where he's able to kind of make everything kind of the better version of it.
What's his background? Is he a programmer for games already, or is he just
Tech art mainly,
okay?
yeah, a lot of tech art for VR, and a lot of kind of nitty gritty stuff within Unreal. So there's a lot of kind of really good knowledge with Unreal there.
Okay, cool. So how long have you been working on this for?
About 4 years,
4 years.
but about 2 years ago is when we kind of made the switch from what it used to be to what it is now. So technically, what you're seeing there is about 2 years old ish.
Wow. And you're working like every day, all day long? Like what kind of
Yep, full
hours? What is
time,
something?
full time on this.
You working all night?
Sometimes, yeah. I have a weird schedule. I tend to start around 12 and or between 12 and 2 p.m. and work until like 10 or 11 p.m. usually.
Okay, cool. So you would obviously, sketch out concept, all this stuff first, and then you build it, or were you kind of exploring and building, creating as you were making the models and the world and everything like that?
Yeah, the latter. We usually, since again, I mentioned I can kind of model and do everything. Like in a lot of cases, it's more a matter of already knowing where I'm trying to go for. And then if I already have an idea, and I kind of have something solid in mind, then I don't waste too much time on the concept side. But for things that are more important, like the characters, we call them the knights. But the knights and kind of enemy creatures and very specific props or POIs, they tend to be concepted, but other things they're just kind of more freeform.
And you knew how to do the effects and stuff like that too?
Yep, everything.
Cool. So the deformers and all that's really neat. Like I like how that effect is. That's cool. These colors are really nice.
Thank you so much.
All in here.
I,
What is
I do want to add really quick, sorry, that I did still have to learn a lot of it. So even though I knew how VFX works, and also on top of that, there are some assets that you see there that are Unreal Market assets.
okay?
It's not a lot. I'd say it's maybe 10, 15, 20% at most in what
Hmm.
you see. But sometimes, for VFX, I'll start with something that exists and either modify it or study it, and then create the rest from scratch.
Cool. So what is the point of the game? Like you're building buildings or structures.
Right.
Is there like this story, or do you not want to reveal that just yet? Or um,
We can talk about that. I'll read this verbatim from our Steam page, so to make sure I
okay,
make it justice. But it's an immersive underwater roguelite simulation game centered around exploring and surviving the uncharted depth of an alien world while building and maintaining modular outposts. So it's not a city builder per se. It's not something where you're just going to have a base and you're always going to make it bigger until you win the game. It's more so you send out expeditions of knights, right? So you can decide, okay, let's go in with 1 or 2 or 10 knights, and then you try to each time you go in a region, you try to kind of reach the boss level of that region. So there are 5 levels per region, um, and then every time you go in and you manage to get out, you get rewarded and you can kind of unlock more tools and more ways to survive. So our knights are able to have tools equipped to them. I think you see that towards the start when they ping with the sonar. Um, but the idea is that you can decide, okay, well, I know this little guy is going to stay near the base and is going to take care of fixing the building. So maybe I'm going to give him better tools and maybe a stronger armor. And that's more important than having a lot of oxygen, right? Because if that
mhm.
knight is going to stay by the base, he doesn't really need to have big oxygen canisters. But on the other hand of that, you can think, okay, well, this guy is going to be my explorer. So maybe I need to have bigger oxygen tanks, and maybe I need to have longer fog of war reveal vision, and maybe I want to give him a bike so he's faster, right?
That's a cool effect. I like the holographic view of the buildings
Me
selection.
too. Yeah, the little outline stuff.
Hmm. All right, yeah, sounds cool. When is it going to be fully released or?
So we're aiming for early access before the end of the year. That's our hopeful plan. You know how things go, and it's just the two of us. We want to make sure that the first version of early access is not going to be like you play for 10 minutes and then it's all bugged and broken. So, but our current plan is towards the end of the year.
What exactly is early access?
So for this, it means that you're able to play all the kind of core mechanics. So you know you can explore, you can unlock stuff, you can kind of extract and kind of finish regions and play with different factions. But it also means that, you know, in some areas it's not fully polished, so there's bugs. Sometimes performance can drop, and it also means that there's not all the content that we plan, right? So there's a limited amount of tools, right? So for example, in the long term, we hope to have enough tools and variety so you can kind of always play differently and always run into different kind of events. But when that comes out, that number will probably be more limited than what we planned.
Were you doing the animations, or they are coming from the Unreal market?
No, that's a mix. The animations were between me and Kyle. Kyle actually been doing a lot of the animation refining lately.
Cool.
That tentacle is Unreal Marketplace, by the way.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I did the red visibility effect on top of it, but otherwise it's Marketplace, and some of the VFX there as well for the EMP.
Cool. So how, if you were to give it a pitch for anyone watching this for the first time, how you sell them on the game? How is it different from others? Like, why should they get this game? This is your moment right now.
Well, the short version is if you have thalassophobia and you're scared of the sea, well, don't worry. Your character is not the one getting eaten alive by a shark. It's going to be the knights, so you're safe. But yeah, it's, you know, I think it's for people that enjoy things that tend to be heavier and more atmospheric and a little bit more punishing. And something where each time you're kind of going to die, I think, oh, okay, well, at least now I have this new tool or I unlock this new thing, so now I can go in again and have a different way of playing, or I can kind of try different things. And we do have really cool customization options. And on top of that, finally, each knight has kind of its own backstory that's randomly generated that also affects its stats. So, you know, we can have, for example, you have from the top of my head, knights that are they used to be kind of racers with or underwater scooters, and so that knight is going to be faster on bikes, right? Or you can have knights that they kind of lose morale slower because they keep carrying little blue crabs in their pockets, right? So they have little pets, and those pets kind of cheer them up. So that's not things that we currently show visually, but at least, you know, in the text, you know why that knight tends to have less of a morale drop, right? So I think hopefully people will have a fun time with that.
Yeah, I love the contrast and the glows. It's so magical.
Thank you. Yeah, I really wanted to kind of do a different take on underwater. I mean, there's amazing underwater games out there, right? Like Subnautica, for example. But I really wanted to push for something that was kind of more fantastical while still being really scary at the same time. Because it does get really dark and spooky.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Looking forward to it. Is there anything else you want to say about the game?
We're just really excited that it's out there. I think honestly, right now, I'm so excited to be able to start talking about it with people because having
Yeah.
it under wraps for so long, and that's another thing is I'm really excited about people seeing that side of what I do because people tend to look at me and think, oh, you know, he's a concept artist or what,
Mhm.
which is awesome, and I love doing concept art, but I don't feel it's fully representative of my skill set and what I love creating.
Mhm.
So I'm just really excited about people seeing that side of what I do, and you know, it kind of feels like letting my baby out in the world finally. So that's really exciting. But in terms of the game, the other thing that I want to tell people is we really want to build this for the community, 1,000%. We don't currently have stakeholders or publishers or anything. So you know, if you're saying, "I kind of would love to see this in the game," now's really the time to say that, or things that you're excited about that you want us to hone in on in the game, right? If you're saying, "Oh, well, I actually really want to see what the game is when it's really, really dark," right? Like that's a good
Mhm.
time to say things like that because we have that freedom with the game, and we really, even though we have a vision for it, you know, have something that I'm trying to achieve. I want to make this for people. I don't like I already can play with things at home to make this game like to change it a little bit for me if I want to play it a certain way, but for people, I really want to make sure that this is something kind of unique and fun for everyone. Well, not exactly for everyone, because as a lot of people
Yeah.
say, if it's for everyone, it's for no one. So let me rephrase that. I want to make this for the niche that we're targeting.
Yeah, I love the mood. I love the animation style, the glows and everything. I'm looking forward to checking it out. How can people actually give their thoughts on the game and help the game grow? Because that's really great that you're listening to the players, you know.
Awesome.
So how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, honestly, the short version is you can post on our, as you can see there, there's a link to the star page under that
Hmm.
trailer. But currently, we have a Discord if people want to join that, and I'm very, very, very active in that Discord. So if anybody has any questions, if they want to talk about the game, if they want to talk about what they hope is going to be in the game, you can put stuff in there. Or you can write on the Steam page. We also have posts left and right on Reddit. Also Twitter. Like, if you see me on Twitter, you can even message me directly on Twitter. That's fine. Um,
Is
you
there a
know,
specific name so that they
if
have
you
to
look
search for?
for myself, so Jeffreyano or Xphrasis, that's my nickname everywhere. And for the game itself, it's either if you look for Tides of Tethys or if you look for Black Rust. Black Rust is the name of the company. Um, Usually, you'll hopefully find it fairly easily.
Okay. I'll put that information at the description at the bottom of the video
Awesome, thank you.
for people to get to. Yeah, dude, this is quite ambitious.
Sure is. Yeah,
um, yeah, it's really cool. It'll be cool to see some early reactions when people start playing.
yeah, we're really excited about that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for you. This is a lot of work. Last 2 years of taking the chance, doing it. What everyone see. Here's the thing. I'm in. People listening to this now will be like, "Oh, he's talking about me." People, I keep trying. Like they tell me, "Oh, dude, I got these like game ideas, indie games." Like, well, fucking do it. Let's do
Oh,
it. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, just do it. It's funny because this started really with me. The way I really, so I actually didn't give you a full answer earlier. You asked me how did I start this. I started this with opening Unreal, and I thought, oh, I kind of want to do something like a city builder. So I went on Unreal Marketplace. I found a blueprint for just a top-down city builder RTS game pack, and I started
Okay.
with that. And then I replaced the main unit with a block out guy that looked like he was in a dive suit, and then I kind of found some block out Victorian-looking buildings online. I just kind of visually tried it, right? I was like, cool, let me place this building. And then little by little, you realize, okay, well, now I need to learn how to do this. And now this is what I want to try to do. And then I need to add that. And that's what gives you the answers. You're never going to have all the answers and you're never going to be more ready than you are today to get started, right? So
Yeah,
just
totally.
do the thing. Just go
Yeah.
do the thing.
Just do it. I mean, I get it. I totally understand the financial risk. It's like, well, I
Yeah.
can't like just stop working and then I have to like take care of my kids. I have to put food on the table, blah, blah,
Just
blah,
do it
blah.
on the side and scope it down. That's what I tell people
Hmm.
is I I'm very happy with where the game is today, but if there's one thing I would do differently is I would ship a project first that is way smaller because even right now with the game being announced and marketing, there's so much that I'm still learning and mistakes that I'm doing
Hmm.
that I just wish I spent 1 week on a terrible project, really terrible game that is tiny, like a Flappy Bird style game, right? And
Hmm.
not to say those are terrible, but I think they're more accessible to make, right? Like they're still fantastic games. Do something tiny like that. That's just going to take you 1 week after work, and just try to make a small thing and put it out there, and then do something bigger.
Yeah, I mean that's the way to go, right? You just gotta just do it. I
You
mean,
got to
that's
start
all it
somewhere.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then if you need help, go on Fiverr. Get someone to help you out.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's your page, man. That's your game. Hopefully you can inspire other people to do their dream as well. No more
that would be
excuses,
the
people.
dream.
Just fucking do it. Just
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Come on. Get off or get free from being underneath the boot of the people or your boss.
Yep. And there's never been a better time for that because people just they want to see what you have to offer. Like we all we're saying right now from AAA stuff is sequels and kind of more kind of offshoots of things that already exist. I mean, and I don't want to be too generalist on that because there's of course fantastic games still coming out left and right from AAA studios, but I think
Mhm.
people want to see projects that are less.
Cool, man. This was awesome getting to know you.
Yeah, same here. It's awesome to meet you, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to meet you and talk with you, talk about the game and art.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And your game looks gorgeous. Your paintings are gorgeous. I really hope it does super well. The
Fingers
best of luck on
crossed.
that, man. Yeah, let's go. All you artists, all you fans out there, nerd gamers, everyone, anyone, spread the word
Yeah,
of Ties of Tethys.
yeah. Wish
And
lists really do help. Like even if you're not buying the game, that's okay. But wish lists do help us get visibility and puts us on Steam Store and all that. So it doesn't
amazing.
really help.
Cool. Yeah. So you hear that, guys. Right after you're done with this video, go to wishlist, add it, and spread the word. Share it all over your social media, and share also Atmo on your social media. Everyone.
Yeah, Atmo's great. I mentioned that to you, but I'm surprised I didn't hear of it before because I actually really like everything you're trying to do with it, and I do think that environment art tends to be slightly underrepresented sometimes
Exactly. That's
because
why I
people really
started
love
it.
characters. So I think that's great. That's really great.
So that was the reason why I started. It was like I was trying to find map painters, and I was like, "Where are the damn map painters on RC?" It's like it's so hard
Right?
to
Yeah, it's
find.
hard now. Like you used to be able to on like CG Hub and things like that. I think it was easier, but like
Yeah,
today it's
it's
hard.
so hard.